Oh, we're live. I think.
We're live?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, there it is. Two watching now. Is one of those me?
I'm watching myself.
Same.
Oh, there it is. Two watching now.
Okay, so we can do introductions.
So
Anyone want to start?
Wait, did you say I'm starting?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay. Okay, hi guys. I'm Celina. I'm going into second year in the fall. And then give me just a second. I can tell you my courses. I guess the main things that I took were online French. I took Fine 130 and then Fine 100, which is a fine arts class, as one of my electives. And that was basically it, I think.
Nice. I'm Kyera. I'm going into third year. The courses I took English 108D. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like
Digital Lives.
Thank you. I took Music 140, Music 246, and those two were like one was a soundtrack one for films, and then the other was like a music history of like popular music. I took Korean. I took Fine 130, and then right now I'm doing Spanish online and women's studies. So yeah.
So my name's Jeet. I'm going into second year in the fall, and I took Intro Legal Studies, Intro to Spanish. I took the second Spanish course. What else? I forgot what I take. I also took Digital Lives, and that's it.
Yeah. So, are you done? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm done. Yes, I'm done. Yeah.
Sorry. So someone asked a question. They wanted to know what the course approval form they submitted a while ago was for, and whether it's for the course selection. I actually can't remember because this has been a while ago.
I know. I remember when Kat was saying to me in the group chat, they're two different things. So the course approval form is mainly for art students, I believe. And that's just to get into, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's just to get into the required courses.
So like reserve your spot, kind of?
Yes, kind of, yeah. And then the date where it's course selections, that's different from our course approval form.
Wasn't course approval form for just our first term in general, just first term? It guaranteed us all our spots in first term courses.
Yeah.
And then in September, you would pick your winter courses, and that would be the same period as everyone else.
Yeah. I remember, at least this might have changed since I was in first year, but at some point in July, I think for you guys, it's like July 3rd, it starts. There is like the course selection for everyone happens, and like that's when you can go and like rearrange your schedule. Oh, hey, Kat. Rearrange your schedule, like slot in your classes, kind of. I think that's when that happens. That's right. You want to just like introduce yourself and then say the courses you took?
Right. Yeah, sorry. Hey, I'm Kat. I'm the president of GBDA Society, and I'm in third year now. So like other than all the mandatory courses, some of my favorites that I took was a drama course, which was like the performance one, not the theater one. The mythology class was pretty dope. And then I took a few fine arts courses. So the mandatory like 100, and then, well, not mandatory for us, but just if you want to take more than one. Then I took the fine 100 and then the oil painting one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's me.
So we just answered that one. I know there was a question about like how big the class sizes are. So if anyone wants to answer that.
Really varies on what class you take, in my opinion.
Because the business ones, they're like econ wasn't too big. I think econ was only like about 100 students, and that was the same for the GBDA courses in my experience. The only big class that I had was Arbis, which was the other business course, which was basically our entire program.
That was just one section for Arbor, so everybody was in it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a pretty diverse, like, so the mythology class, it is in the biggest lecture hall in Waterloo, and it's like 700 something people that were in that class. I saw the professor a few times in like the building. I was like, hey, blah. And he like had no idea who I was. Which, I mean, I can't blame him. He just looked at me like I was some crazy person. But like, that was like the biggest class. And then the smallest was drama, which was with like 8, like 9 maybe. So yeah, it really depends on like what in class sizes. You'll know everyone.
Yeah. For me, like, I think the biggest class I took was like the music 140 and 246 classes, because those ones only run in one time slot a term, and the professor's really good, so like a lot of people take it. But like it was really chill. Like he was one where like if you went up to talk to him a couple of times, he might remember you, but like for the most part, if it's a big class, they don't exactly know who you are. And like the smallest class I think I took was the English, like 108D. There was like maybe 30 of us, probably less than that there.
Yeah, mine had like over 20, 25 people in it.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends. And like the language classes are usually pretty small too. More like high school numbers.
Yeah, my Spanish had probably about 30 people in it both semesters. It wasn't too full.
Yeah.
You remember my fine art class, the Fine 100? I think we only had like 20. And then I just remembered that I took a psychology class. And I think that was like 400 people. Yeah. That was my biggest class.
Also, like the online courses, you don't really know how many people, but it's usually a lot, like 100, maybe more. You can kind of see it when you're online and like learn, which you'll know about in September, but those ones are pretty big, and you can talk to your classmates, but like most of the time it's pretty a solo kind of thing. Yeah.
What was the music class that you took? You said it was like music.
Music 140, and it was called Popular Music something. I don't remember the title. And then I took one called Music 246, and that was soundtracks and film, where you like watch a movie every week and talk about the score. It was really sick.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it was actually like my favorite class. And the professor was hilarious. Yeah. We have another question. So do you guys have any tips in terms of picking class times, professors, etc.?
Base it off of your lifestyle. Like, I'm naturally just someone who wakes up early. So I pick all of my early classes, and like I see if I can line them all up so that like, because usually if you take the early class for one class, you can take the early class for like the next one you have, and then it just kind of like lines up really well. But if you're not like an early person, like try to make them later, because as the year goes on and as like you get more assignments, you'll realize that waking up early is like really hard to do. Like in high school, you wake up early all the time and you don't even notice, and then university comes along and like 11 o'clock mornings become a chore, right? So just like it's better for your overall like well-being and like just to pay attention better to do what you know you can handle.
Yeah.
So even if like I finished like way before some other people did, like my classes usually ended at 3, some people's ended at 5. So I had like earlier afternoons that were just open, but for some people that wasn't worth it. Like sleeping in a bit in the morning was better than waking up and then having like the afternoon free.
Yeah, like I can attest to that for sure. I'm like I wake up early, but I don't like getting out of bed early. So I took like, I know this year I took I got the computer science class, and it was like 8:30, And the first week or so, I was like, okay, this is fine. I can do this. Like week 2 came and I looked outside and I was like, this isn't a thing.
No. Yeah,
It was
especially with
not. I
classes that you have
switched
to
into the
like
later
think.
time. Yeah, like that one is one you shouldn't miss. So if you know you can't wake up, don't take the early one. And then yeah, like definitely build around your like study schedule, sleep schedule, because if you can't study at night, like don't go late into the day doing classes, because you need to have free time to work on your projects and like be awake while you're doing that. So like for sure, like think about yourself. And then in terms of like picking professors, there's like a website you can use. What's it called?
UW Flow.
Yeah, UW Flow, and then there's Rate My Prof, and that's one where you can search the professor's name and you'll get like information about like their teaching style and like how the assignments are, things like that. Those ones are helpful.
Okay, keep in mind though, some people get really angry at their profs and they like trash them.
Yeah.
Like in first year, we had a prof. I think he's gone now, so like it's okay if I just say this, but his name was Brian, and half our class just despised him. I mean, most of our class despised him. I don't know, Kyera, did you have him?
Yeah, I had him. There was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was bad.
So like most people hated him because his teaching style was very much like, here's your project, no guidelines, just do what you think is right, and like
Then you get graded at
something.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like he didn't even really give you a grading scheme, like nothing, just like do it. You know?
Yeah.
And that pissed a lot of people off, but I really, really liked him. He was my favorite prof, and he taught me to be independent. So like profs, if you know what you like teaching wise, then like go for it, like look up reviews. But sometimes I think it's better just to go like the first little bit, and then if you really, because you can usually tell kinda.
Yeah.
And then like if you just don't think you'll agree with them, to just like switch out into the next class.
And you have time too. Like I think it's the first 2 weeks of the semester. There's like room for you to switch classes and switch professors, like depending on the class numbers. So like don't get stressed if you're in a class and you're in the early class and you can't switch. Like I was able to switch multiple times into like different classes and different professors. Like my biggest advice I think would be, so like most people are coming here and they don't know anyone. So like try to take classes that you're truly interested in, and not just because a large majority of people are taking them that you might know. For me, that like made me a lot of friends and like built my circle outside of GBDA too. So like make sure you do that, and like don't worry about taking a class where like you don't necessarily know a lot of people. It doesn't really matter, and like eventually into the term you'll get used to it. So that's my advice.
Honestly, the last thing I can say is that I know it's tempting to squeeze all of your classes in like the first 3 days if you can, or like the first 4. And as good as like a 3-day weekend, I think is perfect. If you can't get it, it's honestly not a big deal, because you have a lot of free time between classes anyways to work on stuff. But we had one term where we had a 4-day weekend. And
oh my god.
like I think at first we were all hyped for it. Like right? Like it sounds amazing. 4-day weekend. Like
boring.
Party on Wednesday night. You know? Who does that? But I think that halfway through, a lot of our class just realized that we're like getting nothing done. Like we're procrastinating the crap out of all of our work. And it was really stressful because by the end of the term, everyone was scrambling and we're like, these projects aren't done. So long weekends, it seems like it's a great thing, but you're gonna get, I mean, I don't know, I'm just like this. Like I got exhausted from having to go to class like back to back from like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Like that was my day. And it was just like I couldn't do it. And then even though I had a 4-day weekend, Thursday, Friday, I didn't feel like doing anything because like I had a hard week. And then Saturday, I was like, I should start it. But then like
you don't.
I didn't. And then Sunday morning, I sleep in. And then Sunday afternoon, I'm kind of like lazing around still. And then Sunday night is when everything just like crashes down on me and I realize that I have like all these assignments due and I haven't started any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I would prefer not having long weekends because in my first year, I think I had classes every day, but I only had about 1 or 2 classes. And if I did have 2 classes, they were spaced out by like maybe an hour or so.
That's so lucky.
Yeah, within that, I didn't have any like back-to-back classes, which was nice because that also gave me a lot of time like every single day to work on other projects that I had. So that was nice.
Yeah. I had something to say and I forgot it, so never mind. It was like, okay, so a lot of GBDA, it's about like so the courses are one thing, but then also what you do on the side, like your side hustle is a big thing too. So like keep that in mind. If you like doing graphic design or if you are really good at painting or illustrating or want to start your own business, like plan your courses around that too. So like if you want to be somewhere in a few years or whatever, get to your courses too. So like give yourself time to like grow yourself outside of school, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone hear that, or did that just disconnect from me?
That happened to me too.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got like the idea.
There's a new question about the whole curriculum change for next year. Myth has it this year they're completely revamping the GBDA curriculum. Have you guys heard about this? Yes, we have.
It's hard not to hear about it.
It seems like a good idea, at least from like our first year. Like, if you can like speak on that too. Like, I don't know.
So basically, the biggest difference is in your like actual like courses that because every single year that goes through GBDA gets like a form that we fill out about every class and like whether it's useful, whether it's not, blah blah blah. And basically, they listened to what we had to say. And they gave you more UX courses, so user experience design, which is a field that's really growing. And a lot of us wanted more, but we only get 2 or like 3, I think. 2? 2. And then you guys are going to get a lot more. Also, you get more electives. And this is because, like, we had VCALT, so as a mandatory. It was kind of like it shouldn't be mandatory, but for us it was. And it's okay, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. Basically, the biggest difference is they took out a lot of unnecessary courses and they replaced them with electives. Also, if you're wondering, I forget what they're called, but basically they're like the digital, like they're the course where you get to choose between 4 topics and there's like tech something. It's one of your first term courses.
VCALT? Which ones?
No.
What?
No. They're first. I have to pull it up. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But basically, it's one of your
communication.
Something like that.
Arts 130. That's what. Never mind.
There's Introduction to Microeconomics, Inquiry and Communication, a language, elective, and then winter term, it's Introduction to Digital Media, Information and Analysis, language, elective.
Okay, so the inquiry communication
and
that one.
Communication, yeah.
Yeah, so like the 2 courses that we didn't have that you guys are going to have in fall and winter, they replace your literacy test that we had to do. And it was this like,
they got rid of
so that's the thing.
The LP.
You guys are so lucky. Oh my gosh.
I know. So yeah, basically what that was is we were stressing the heck out because our year and like most of the years above ours had to write this. Basically, it's like the OSSLT again, so the Ontario Literacy Test, like all over.
Yeah.
Except if you don't pass it, you have to take a course.
If you're not from Ontario, that's like we wrote an essay, and you had to like follow a certain format, or you didn't pass. But yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And like a lot of people, it was just really stressful and unnecessary because a lot of us, like, you know, we've done it before, we're fine. But instead they replaced it with like useful courses about not just like English or whatever, but basically they're just like a good starter for like communications and whatnot because we don't actually get communications courses. We have everything like around that, and then it gets like drizzled in. But this is like a really good like base for you guys. So yeah, curriculum change is really good. I think like you guys have an easier platform to do like a minor if you choose. It's just like overall they took all of our criticisms and they started implementing it.
Yeah.
Basically what happened.
It's really good. The courses sound super interesting too. And like it's good. It's really fun to have electives because like taking random courses is really fun to do actually. And like Waterloo has a lot of courses that are like super interesting and super well done. Not saying that GBDA courses aren't, just like you might not be fully interested in only business or only like digital art. It might be like you really like music or you like film or
you want to find out about it. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
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 Like it gives you the chance to find out about other things, not just stuff within GBDA.
Yeah. Make sure you go out of your comfort zone and take random courses because it really benefits you.
It's good to expand.
Yeah. I hope that answered your question. If you have like any specific questions, like you can message me on Facebook or whatever, like put them in the group, like the Facebook group and whatnot.
Thoughts about the living learning community? I have no experience with that.
Does anyone here have any?
I would just recommend to go to the previous video.
Oh, right. Yes.
In a nutshell, it's overwhelmingly positive. You're surrounded by people in your program, also people not in your program. You get a peer tutor, so someone in an upper year, that'll help you with assignments, and it'll basically just be like there for you if you have any confusions related to things. And they have like events, like floor events and whatnot.
Even last year they had an event where like they invited a bunch of upper years and we all came and like hung out and played games and like made like a short film thing. It was really fun.
Yeah. So like 10 out of 10 would recommend.
An opportunity in first year. There was a question when we sent out that form, and it was, how difficult are the French courses and how can you be ready for the difficulty level? I've never taken French, but if anyone here has. Well, I took it in high school, but
I took online French, and it was, I think, the 151 class, because I took French all the way up until grade 10 in high school. And honestly, like, it was an online course, so I'd be lying if I said that I didn't slack off. Like, I had other priorities, but it was honestly my easiest course in the winter term because I had a lot of background in it already. But I would suggest go through your textbooks because you can actually learn from them a lot. I think I opened it like once, but I feel like if you do know the basic knowledge of French, then you'll be fine. Because there's even a beginner French course that they have.
Yeah.
So I didn't find it too difficult.
I had the opposite experience. I've been in I was in French immersion until high school, and then I switched to extended because I wanted to go to the extended high school instead. So
you had to take the super hard one, didn't you?
Yeah. So I was with I didn't take the hardest one. I took the one below it. I think it was like No, still 100 because they have them. Remember. It was the one that Julia was in too. I can't.
Was it like 190 or something?
Yeah, 192.
190, something like that. It was like a 190 something A or B. I don't know. Yeah, the Frenches are confusing. There's a lot of like similar ones, and they're like, if you've done this much, go to this one. If you've done this, so 151 I heard from James, who was in my year, was easy, but that's also coming from him, and he's good at a lot of things. But you vouched for it too, so like 151 seems like a good level. I can't speak for in-class French, but online 192 or whatever the heck I did was hell on earth. I was working, there was 3 of us in GBDA that were working together every week on the assignments, and we were still struggling.
Jeez.
There was 80 questions per week, but not just questions like, you know how in languages they have like exercise number 1, and then there's like 10 questions
Oh, those
Yeah.
and like the
suck.
first
Oh my.
exercise. So there was 80 of those. So like, yeah, there was a lot.
That's just math in a nutshell.
And they weren't easy. They weren't multiple choice. They were like fill in the sentence, and then if you got them wrong, then like, and then you had the tests every 2 weeks. So it was just like, French was my hardest course that term. My
Jeez.
hardest course. And like, I didn't even slack off. Like, I tried to do it during the week, but some of them were so hard that we just gave up. Like, there were times where we would just submit like empty ones because we just couldn't do it. And I don't know. It starts off easy. Every language course is going to start off easy, and you're going to be like, wow, piece of cake. No.
Yep.
Not piece of cake.
The 101 courses are like okay because they know that not everyone knows what you're doing, but like still it gets hectic really quick. You just have to like for me when I did Korean in my first year, and I thought I was failing the whole course. Like I was like, I failed. I was calling my mom. I was like, Mom, I failed that. Everything's sad. I didn't fail. I got like a 70. It was shocking. But like the whole time it was stressful and it wasn't like the best experience. But you just have to like pace yourself and try your best, because especially if you're taking a language that's not super common in Canada, like French, like how French is, they're not as hard as French would be. So like maybe try doing something like that if you're worried about it. And then I tried to do Korean 102. That was hectic also, so I didn't do that. But I took Spanish, and I'm doing that online, and it's harder than it would be in class for sure.
The only one I think. Oh, keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the only one that I haven't heard bad things about online is Dutch. That's the only one where people are like, if you take it online, like it's not as bad. Otherwise, I would not recommend taking a language online. Like in class, you have your prof that you can literally walk to and be like, hey, really struggling, please help. Yeah, and it's also just like a lot easier because you hear the speech and like you're forced to go every week. Also, I know that I'm complaining about the languages a lot. They're actually not that scary as long as you don't ignore them, because it's easy to concentrate on all of your projects and like shove languages to the side, but you don't like make a schedule or something and be like, okay, today I have to do an hour of this, like I have to, no excuses.
Because you can't learn a language in a night at all. Like it doesn't work.
No, it does not at all.
Don't leave it to the last minute. It won't work. You can leave some other stuff to the last minute, but not that.
For languages, you definitely have to do like a little bit every day so it sticks in your head and you know how to do it the next day.
Yeah.
There's another question.
But Stratford?
Yeah. Since we're in Stratford after the first year, do we have to go back to the main campus often? And how are the living arrangements usually made?
We used to struggle with this, but lately they've been really trying. So living arrangement wise, they do fairs now. So like residence fairs, and you can go, and they do them usually at the end of the year, I think. They did it at the end of winter?
Winter.
Can't remember. Winter, yeah.
Yeah.
So you go and you talk to them, and then like, I stumbled on, because I'm living in Stratford in fall term, and I kind of stumbled on that by accident. Somebody needed to sublet their place, and they're just like, help. And so I took it. I think it's going to change a lot for you guys. So like, this is something that we're continuously figuring out, because just, it's not that there aren't living arrangements, it's just there isn't a community there yet, because we didn't need one up until now. But yeah, so that I will let you know in fall.
Yeah, it'll probably change a lot too, even in the year before you guys have to go. And then also, it's not mandatory to live in Stratford. A lot of like, because it's in third year for us is when we go. So this is the year that everyone's deciding if they're going to stay in Waterloo and Stratford. I'm personally staying in Waterloo, but then there's like the issue of trying to get a ride share or like carpool with a group of people. So just keep in mind that, but it's probably going to change drastically within the next year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue too much because like they wouldn't have made you guys only stay 1 year in Waterloo if they didn't like have something in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
As for commuting to Waterloo for courses, there is a evening bus, I think, that they do
On Wednesdays and Fridays or something.
Yeah. Also, there's the Via Rail that goes between.
Yeah. That goes to Kitchener, right?
Yeah.
So it's the bus back to Waterloo.
Well, I mean, the bus from Kitchener to Waterloo is not even
it's not
bad.
that bad.
It's like 15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
So it might even be shorter once they finish construction, because like the bridge they took out is the one that makes it faster. But yeah, the Via Rail is really nice if you can afford it. But yeah, there's a bus. There's a bus there. Broke student life.
That free GRT life.
Yeah. Oh, there's a thing There's a thing for Via Rail for students. You pay like $200 a term, and you get like I think it's 6 or 7 like rides, and like if you cancel, there's not a big deal. So maybe look into that because it's way cheaper than paying per train ride. But yeah.
I am taking. I kind of messed up my schedule. So I have to take a language course this term, so in fall, and I'll be commuting back to Waterloo. Like I'll have a car and I'll be going back, and like it's not too big of a deal for me, especially if my schedule lines up properly. So like I don't mind. Most people in our program don't mind at all, like because Waterloo just has a lot of the clubs and stuff, and you'll find that once you start making like friends and stuff, it's easier. Like Kyera, you're in Fashion for Change, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like next year too.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
Join Fashion for Change.
I can vouch for Fashion for Change too.
Yeah, Celina.
So like it's things like that. Like once you build a family in Waterloo, like a family, uni family, commuting between the two campuses doesn't become as big of a deal anymore because like it's worth it, you know?
Yeah. If you're into partying and if you're into like more of a social life, I would suggest coming to Waterloo more often. But like you do you, like it doesn't really matter. And yeah, like it's not even that far. It's like a 40-minute drive. So yeah. Does anyone have like a favorite course they'd recommend, or like one that you're gonna take soon and you're interested in?
I've heard from Amira that,
or even like the GBDA courses are changing now. So like an elective, I guess.
I just like find 130.
Yeah, why?
Nice and easy course if you know Photoshop like relatively well. Not even relatively well. If you know like a little bit, you can do perfectly fine in that class.
Pro tip: don't buy the textbook.
Oh, I wasted my money on that.
Same. Don't do that. Even if you don't know Photoshop, still don't buy the textbook.
There's online tutorials that can help you out so much.
Like literally YouTube. If you don't know Photoshop, don't even sweat it. Like watch it. Just be patient. Watch a 40-minute YouTube tutorial and like you're good.
YouTube will change your life.
For any Adobe program, YouTube, there's lots of tutorials.
Like, the biggest tip for any course that you take is don't buy the textbook until you're for sure staying in that class and they've told you to read more than one chapter. Because if they haven't done that, you're going to waste your money.
Oops.
They're really helpful for language courses, textbooks.
Well, they're mandatory.
Yeah.
You know what they do? They make you buy the textbook, but not for the textbook, but for the code. Like you get a code,
oh my God.
And you have to submit all of your assignments and all of your tests through that like website thing. So if you don't buy the code, you just fail. So like you have to buy it.
That's the only thing.
No.
I know someone in my Spanish class, he didn't buy his code until like the last 2 weeks of the course, and he had to grind out like hours upon hours of homework in the last 2 weeks just to pass.
That sounds like torture.
like, and then like they monitor when you submit it too. So like they know
Yeah.
if you can't even like hide the fact that you're doing it all last minute. Like it shows, and then it deducts marks automatically. Like the
Yeah.
later you submit it.
You get like a % off per day in Spanish 101 or something.
I thought
So
it was like
like
10 or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
really?
like 5 deducted and then 15. But
Yikes, never mind.
I don't
I
know
had
if
like
like
a
anyone what. It's okay.
topic of Photoshop. Do you guys recommend having Adobe Creative Cloud on our personal computers?
Yes.
Yes.
If
It helps a lot.
actually, if you're not thinking of going into design as a career and it's like not something you're super super interested in, don't buy it. Or like there's computers on campus that you can use, things like that. Or like do the subscription for like the months that you're in the course. But like if you have it and you know you want to do it, then it's worth it.
That's really good advice.
There's also the option that lots of people have been cracking their own and like not paying for it, just like torrenting and stuff.
Not saying we
shouldn't,
endorse
like,
that.
We're not
officially
endorsing
recommend-
it, but
yeah.
like
That's also an
it
option.
happens. It happens.
There's a thing that exists, and we won't show you how to do it, but you can.
It's Google.
And that's all we're gonna say.
But
Google.
yeah, if you're
Nothing
doing
more.
if you're doing it as a career, like it's worth it.
I'm pretty sure I'm still paying for it in the summer, and I barely use it.
Ask for it for your birthday or something. Make it like a
Adobe
present.
is my baby.
Yeah, like I'm using it for my job right now.
Mm.
It's so okay. They in the interview they asked me if I if I had experience with Illustrator, Photoshop, and like whatever. So like, and I said yeah, and they're like okay, good, because like it's required. And then I get to the job, and they don't like, they give me like this really old boxed like computer.
Ew.
And it didn't have any of the programs on it. Like, and so I had to bring in my own laptop and work off of that. But if I didn't have Photoshop or Illustrator, I would have been screwed. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do anything at all. Like, anything that they wanted me to do, I would have had to like just shrug my shoulders and maybe use Paint or like, that's an extreme.
Real graphic designers use Paint.
If
I
you
would've
can
found
make
something
something look sick
online.
on Paint, you're a pro. Oh my gosh, that's my dream.
But yeah, yeah, if you're going into design, like you'll need it. You'll need it for sure. Like you can't not have it.
Mhm.
It's like an industry standard, basically. Yeah.
Oh, also, so if you want to learn more, like if you're in it for design, even if you're not in it for design, but you just want to make things that look super cool, you can look at the upper years in the program, look at the people in your year, and like for me, like Instagram has like upped its game, and the fact that you can see so much people like doing cool stuff, like Celina's Instagram, her art Instagram, it's so sick.
What's your
Plug my
Instagram?
Plug it.
No, actually, I don't think I follow
It's
you.
okay, what is this music? My art account is Celexo Art. So CELXO Art.
Mm-hmm. And like look at the people in your year, look at the upper years, see what they're doing. Go on YouTube and watch random tutorials and things like that, because you'll learn so much just from other people and looking at what they do. That it's actually crazy. Yeah, that's advice I have.
If Satan had a man bun, what that make?
It's good advice.
Hmm.
What?
Who is
What?
this?
What
What?
happened?
If Satan had a man bun?
A man bun?
We have a troller here.
The Gunder
Oh.
Muffin.
Follow us on Instagram, Gunder Muffin.
Let me tell you. They do you remember during our orientation, so our year. So if some of you have been to Stratford campus, you know that we have
Wait,
like, the
repeat
huge...
that? Sorry, it cut out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think it's my Wi-Fi. It's kind of dodgy. But
Same.
so like, Kyera, do you remember in our year during like orientation, on the micro Christie wall, they gave us
Oh,
yeah, they gave
I know
us,
what you're talking about. That was so bad.
They
Wait, what
gave us
happened?
permission. So okay, if you guys have been to Stratford, you know that we have like that giant 3-story wall.
Mhm.
During our orientation, they let us like fill it with words. I forget what the prompt
They
was.
were doing like a Q&A with the professors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
During like when we first went to campus, like the first time all of us were there together, and they made it so that you had to like you didn't tweet your questions, but it was like this link they gave us.
Yeah, that you could submit like stuff.
Yeah.
And you could submit like text and pictures and like, whatever.
No.
Kyera, I feel like you'd be a better person to explain this because I just remember laughing the whole time. I was just done.
Okay, dead. So it was so funny. Basically, at first it started off okay. Everyone was like, "Oh, how much money do you think we're gonna spend on textbooks? What do you think is a course that you should take?" Like good questions, and then all of a sudden it turned into memes, and it was just out of nowhere. And a lot of it, I forgot what the one was. Oh, there was a lot of Harambe things because we were still in that.
That was relevant.
And then there was one where they kept repeating this. I forgot what it was, but it was like
it went downhill so fast.
Yeah,
like so.
Our program
fast.
loves memes though. That's
they like kept. Someone posted their like a selfie and like follow me on whatever, and then there was people just repeating stuff over and over again, which was really funny. And no one caught on because the professors were facing away from the wall. And so all of us are laughing like up the stairs around the whole thing. And they're like, "What's going on?" And then they turn around and they're like, "Oh," and they're like, "Shut it down."
So yeah, it was a bit of a don't worry, you're in the right place.
I wish we had something like that for our orientation.
Oh no, they learned.
Yeah, they didn't do that
never again.
That'd have been funny.
Sometimes they still put up Twitter, but like they use a certain hashtag, but like people don't respect what the hashtags are supposed to actually be. And you see some questionable stuff on the Christie wall sometimes. I've seen some stuff that was not school appropriate.
For a while, they just put the first year posters on there.
That's
like every
safe.
time I came in. Yeah. Can't go wrong with that one.
Those are pretty good. This year's first year posters. I liked them.
Yeah. Also, I hope you guys' group chat is as lit as ours were. Because I know wow. We did a lot. We did maybe too much.
Our group chat was pretty hectic too.
You guys were wild.
Achenbach.
We call ourselves the Aachen Babes.
Achenbach
Our savior.
The only professor you truly need to know. And Karen.
We have a pillow with his face on it.
Oh,
there's 2 pillows.
There's 2?
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Oh my god.
You guys went further than we did.
An idea of like who Achenbach is, just like in a quick summary. So in my first year, my first semester, my second exam, I think Arbis was my second exam. I thought it started at like 11:30. And so I woke up, got dressed, left, knocked on my roommate's door to wake her up. She was already gone, so I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I start walking back, and I see, like, he's not in our program anymore, but a guy named Conlon walking towards me.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Like, yeah, Conlon. And he's like, he was like a pretty memey guy. Like, he like joked around a lot. He was like, you know, a cool guy. And he's walking towards me, and I lived in UWP. And like, if you went on a tour, you know that like campus is that way.
Yeah.
So jokingly, I was like, haha, you're going the wrong way. Our exam is, you know, in that building. And then he looks at me and he's like, I wrote it. I'm done.
Oh no. Oh no.
And those are the scariest words I have ever heard. Like, and then I checked, I go onto the website and I check out my exam time, and like, he's right. Like, it ends at 11:30.
Oh,
it doesn't start at 11:30. It started like 2 hours ago, or like 1.5 hours ago. And I've never been more scared in my life, because that exam was worth like 30-something%.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna fail. That's it. Like, I'm done. I'm done for.
My heart.
But I wrote Achenbach on email. Like right now. And it was so funny because like that whole term he was teaching us about like entrepreneurship and like seizing opportunities and like being on time and having like a good impression. And here I go missing my exam. I'm like, literally everything he taught me, I just like ignored. So I wrote him an email and I'm like, hey, I know you literally just taught us to be like on time and whatever and like all this stuff, and but like I missed my exam. Please help. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I slept through it. And he writes back, and like I went to his office hours and I talked to him and like we joked around and like he knows who I am. And he literally just said, it's fine, just like come in, you can rewrite it.
He's actually like the nicest person,
Yeah.
nicest
No
professor.
other prof would
Yeah.
let you
Achenbach's
rewrite
a
an
great
exam
prof.
he slept through. Like, that's not a legitimate excuse. He shouldn't have let me do it, but he did, because he's a good prof.
But
Thing.
your exam was worth 30% for that? Ours is 15.
They probably changed it over the years. They adjust it all the time. I don't know. They he's really nice. I even know like he took like the fourth years out for like out when like in the end of their term.
Yeah, to celebrate.
Yeah. He's nice. And Karen did that too. They were doing that too. Karen's also a really nice prof.
Karen's great.
But yeah. They're like known.
Yeah.
People know them.
Like
follow her on Instagram too. She's lit.
But yeah, like Achenbach knew everybody's name in like the second year class, even if like he never talked to them. Like he just knew. Like we'd have to raise our hands for participation marks and whatever, and he'd like call on us by name.
Top hat.
Yeah.
Top hat.
Anyway, yeah, good prof. TLDR.
Do you have any other questions?
How long have we been going for?
Like almost an hour, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Is there anything that you guys like remember from first year that was something that was like really confusing in terms of like courses or like how course selection works, how to make it easier?
I just got confused with building locations with my courses. That's about it.
There's an app for that or something.
Yeah, the UW portal app or whatever.
Yeah. That's really helpful to have all the time because like it's not even just for locating like rooms. You can like if you need to meet with a group for a project or something, you can see if there's rooms available. I think you can check the weather. You can see like where your classes are, just things like that.
You can see how busy the Tim Hortons line is.
Yeah, you can, and then there's like a Goose Watch app, which is really important.
Oh, yeah, it tells you where the geese are.
Oh my gosh, stay away from those.
They're vicious.
Geese.
Cat, what?
They're so sweet. They're
geese are cool until you try to run up on one, and then there's a squad and attacks you.
No, okay, guys. No, they're actually so great, and the reason they're like that is because they're really tight with their families, and like they have like a special bond. Like they mate for life. Like their partner, like their goose friend, like they stay together forever. Okay, and so that's why they're so protective. They just love their family. So you guys are all being like, oh, fucking you, so mean. But in reality, they just love each other, and they're trying to protect themselves from the.
But they leave poop all over the path. And then you step in it, and then what are you gonna do with your shoes?
And then you're trying to like go to Tim's or go to class because you have to go, and you're trying to be a good student. You woke up early for this class, and it tries to attack you. That's so rude.
I'm just trying to go about my business. You go about your business.
I've been chased multiple times.
I don't know. You guys are just bitter. They're great. I had some advice and I forgot it. It was good though.
Should we do a pause?
No. I remember. Okay, so in terms of finding classes, what helped me get to know the campus, like, okay, I know it. I literally know how to get around the whole thing without like really leaving a building. And the reason is because there's another app called What is Rain, so WAT is Rain. And for the first 2 weeks of class, like and I'm a bit of a nerd, so like I get amused by really stupid things. But for like the first few weeks of classes, I exclusively used that app to get around, even if it wasn't raining.
What?
Did you?
I just found the app.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to download it. Basically, I didn't know about this.
What it is it navigates you through the best route from like one location to the next, only through buildings. Yeah, it's kind of confusing, especially if you don't know the campus well at first, because it'll say, like, it gives you a map through the buildings, but it'll give you like a list of instructions. So it's like, go to the 4th floor of E5 and take this whatever and take the staircase to like here. Sometimes you have to look at the actual like building maps to figure out where the staircases are, but now if anyone asked me to go from like I don't know, MC to
What
like
is
the
this
other
guy
side
doing?
of campus, I could do it.
That's cool.
Also, yeah, like it's just like I don't know, if you really want to know, it's not mandatory. You'll get to know the campus in like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to take a shortcut one time and it ended up making me late for class. I got lost.
Oh, another like tip I have is it's not really related to courses, but especially if you're living on residence, a lot of the time you tend, at least I did in the first few months, you tend to just stay on campus. Um, don't do that. Like try and leave, like even like go for a walk in like Waterloo, go see like Uptown, like if especially if you're not from Waterloo, like get to know like the city. It makes it so much better and like there's so much cool places you can go to. Um, do that for sure. Like get off campus, like stop just seeing the school buildings because it's fun outside.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I don't want to say I was sad first year, like I wasn't sad, but like I was pretty upset at how little there was to do. And I was like, oh, Waterloo sucks. Ooh.
Yeah.
But then second year, I moved off campus and I lived a lot closer to Laurier than I did to Waterloo. And it kind of forced me to like walk more, especially if like, I don't know, the buses in the morning were kind of full and I was just like, I'll just walk. But basically, there's so much to do, man.
Yeah.
Like people that say that Waterloo's boring have never left campus basically. Like
Yeah.
they can't say that unless they've
they're
actually
from
tried to do
Waterloo.
something.
Yeah.
Well, like there's a swing dancing club from like 5
Like-
minutes away from by bus campus, and like it's so much fun. And the first time's free, and like I don't know, they like light up the lights, and it's just really nice. I don't know. You guys should just explore,
Yeah.
do things.
Also,
This muffin man, he's
is he still going?
he put a joke in there. It's pretty
Whoever
good.
it is.
Can I can't see the text, so I kind of want to hear the joke.
I'll link it 1 second.
A Mexican magician says he will disappear on the count of 3. He says uno, dos, poof. He disappeared without a trace.
Oh man, I forgot it again. Oh, about like clubs, we're probably going to talk about this in another live, but like I didn't join any clubs in the first year. And I think that was like one of the biggest mistakes that I made because like I was one of the people that was like, oh, this is boring. I wasn't sad like Kat said, but like I was like not feeling it. But yeah, like join clubs, get to know people. Even if you don't join clubs, there's so much stuff happening in like SLC, the Student Life Center, all the time. Like there's like a I know like some of the hip hop stuff happens down there. There's like salsa, yeah. Salsa is really
dancing,
cool.
isn't there as well?
Yeah,
Cabaret
and like
club
just
sometimes.
playing all the time. And there's a lot of people there, so if you just go and you chill there during the day or even at night, it's like worth it, and it's something to do that's not sitting in your room and like watching Netflix because after a while you run out of shows.
We should probably wrap this up before the memes get too extreme in this chat.
So,
guys, you can't out meme us. Stop trying.
Oh, I have too many memes.
All right, I think that's good.
We should save stuff for another live stream.
Yeah.
I have to leave now.
If you guys have any other questions though, ask them in the GBDA
class
group.
of 2022 or whatever.
Yeah.
Group.
Yeah, the group.
The Facebook. Okay.
There's also something. Yeah, if it's in the group chat, we might not be able to see it. Not all of us. So put it in the main group on Facebook. Or comment on our Instagram, DM us, even like ask any of the upper years that you're seeing here. But yeah, we can answer them in another video. I forgot what the topic for the next month is.
Either clubs or life at Lou or something.
Yeah, it's like ask us anything.
Okay, cool. So
AMA.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah, so we'll see you next month. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Can I just say one quick thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Real fast. Okay. I notice a lot of you guys are asking questions in your chat, and that's great. But in previous years, the chats have always been a place where you guys can know your like own group before, or, like your own year before you go in and like get to know each other. And I know a lot of the upper years are kind of like butting in and trying to help you guys, which is great. But don't like it's not just a place for us to answer your questions. Like you can do that in the group. Just try to get to know each other. Like sometimes you guys have great convos and like that's awesome. But don't it's like it's not just a place to ask questions. It's like
Mingle.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's literally supposed to be just your year. So I think once the school year gets going, like we'll kick everyone out and it'll just be like your own space. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
that's all I
change the
wanted to
name.
say.
You can change the picture. We
You
have
can,
a we have,
Yeah, it doesn't
it
have
won't
to
be
say
monitored by anyone.
GBDA
It'll
class.
be
like ours is a failing grade from Learn.
Like we can yeah, as once it gets to August, like probably after orientation week, we'll most of it whoever's in there from society and like upper years in general will probably stop interacting as much. Not because we don't want to, just because we want you guys to have something because we all had it in the other years.
yeah, like I don't want it to be a Q&A space for you guys. I want it to be like your socializing hub.
Yeah, so make sure you post your questions to like the main group on Facebook so that we can all see it for sure. And so that your chat's not boring because that's not fun.
Yeah,
make
honestly,
it a lit chat.
The group chat was probably my favorite memory, especially during like August, July,
That was
because
so funny.
it was so fun. Like getting to know people before classes actually start can be really helpful, and just like finding other students' interests and stuff. Whereas like not just having this Q&A space, because then by the time school starts, it'll be, I think if it remained a Q&A space, it could be awkward and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Just try and build relationships
Mm-hmm.
and get excited because it's fun.
Hype.
It's only a few months away now.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in September, but we'll see you also next month.
On the next episode of
GBDA Q&A 2018.
Oh, sorry. Last thing.
Oh my god.
Playlist from everyone, but that should be up now, and this one will be up too in the next like hour or so after this. So if you missed something or you joined late, you can like go back and watch what we talked about. So yeah, I think that's it now.
Alrighty.
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I think we should just. My phone's gonna die.
I have to
We'll
leave.
stop now.
I'm hungry.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Ciao.